but I just, I want to remember who these people are and what they meant to me. What they mean to me. And they're real.
Has a film or TV show ever changed your life? That might sound like a hyperbolic question, but bear with me.
I wasn't planning on giving a speech.
My life has indeed been a series of discoveries and gateways opening up thanks to a particular piece of media. Aliens at the age of 13 helped solidify my love of sci-fi, and sow the seeds for a fascination with military-themed works that probably led to me cannibalizing Band of Brothers a few years later, which was the series that convinced me to become an actor.
That's why you've got to hold on, okay?
My passion for voiceover was born from My Little Pony: Friendship is Magic around the same time, and the original Charmed and later Buffy helped form my love of adult urban fantasy. This is a rabbit hole I could spend ages exploring, but I feel it's most important to take a left turn to 2006 and one of the greatest films you've never heard of.
Tonight we have the author of a wonderful, wonderful book, A Guide to Recognizing Your Saints.
A Guide to Recognizing Your Saints is a coming-of-age story that's gritty with a capital G.
Don't you raise your voice to me!
It boasts an incredible cast of veterans mixed with up-and-comers, a lot of whom are very much comers now.
I always think about that place.
Let's go then.
I'd never heard of it until 2016 when I found myself making my way through Channing Tatum's filmography. I'd watched Jupiter Ascending to see if it really was so bad it was good, and I ended up kinda sorta digging his character so much I cosplayed as him twice, but that's another story. I was neck-deep in my obsession with the X-Men films, having made it my 2016 mission to defend Apocalypse ferociously, and I expected that the Gambit film would be the next thing to look forward to, so I may as well check out the dude who'd be headlining that.
It's really not that funny.
Mid-2010s Channing Tatum was earning acclaim in the Jump Street films, Foxcatcher, and yes, in fact, Magic Mike, but there was special mention of a 2006 indie drama that seemed like a good place to start.
My name's Ditto. I'm gonna leave everybody in this film.
A Guide to Recognizing Your Saints is brought to us by Ditto Montiel, who was many things in his life before he made a film that would change mine.
What could I do?
Most notably, he was in 2 80s punk bands, he was a model for Versace, but of course he was also a novelist. A Guide to Recognizing Your Saints was his 2001 memoir, detailing both his touring and modeling careers, but also reflecting on his upbringing in Astoria. The saints in the title refer to various people he knew throughout life, including his father Monty and a local delinquent Antonio.
Think of that guy every single day, you know that? Every day.
The book takes on an impressionistic, postmodern approach that would be reflected in the eventual adaptation.
There'll be another guy you'll meet too, same with him. And then another little boy. He's gonna die too.
The film came about because a public reading in Los Angeles was attended by none other than Robert Downey Jr.
I'm not giving away any big ending, you know.
The future Mr. Stark originally wanted to direct the film himself, and enlisted his friend Trudy Styler as producer to help secure funding, and turn Ditto's colourful life story into a 90-minute movie.
He thinks you know all the movie stars in California.
Along the way, Ditto himself stepped into the director's chair in what would be his feature film debut.
With this, a whole lot of other shit's gotta happen first.
The story would follow 2 specific timelines. The first focusing on Ditto as a teenager in 1986, detailing gang activity in the neighbourhood, his girlfriend Laurie, and his eventually running away from home. The second timeline follows Ditto in 2005, where he's persuaded to return home and make his father go to the hospital, confronting his past demons in the process.
You love me or not? Daddy, I gotta know.
Robert Downey Jr. would play Ditto as an adult, with heavyweights Chaz Palminteri and Diane Wiest as his parents across both timelines.
You're my son too.
For the teenage cast, Ditto's initial vision was for an open casting, along the lines of 1995's Kids, where actual teens would be cast from the streets of New York. No acting experience necessary, but in order to meet deadlines, they had to turn to working professionals. They did, however, manage to secure Kids cast member Rosario Dawson on board for the role of adult Laurie, but because the real Laurie had been white, this meant that the unknown Eleanor Hendricks who'd been up to play the teenage version had to be recast with Melanie Diaz.
Yeah? Huh? Yeah.
They made it up to Eleanor by creating a second best friend character to Laurie and Diane called Jenny, and had her be part of the main group, also getting this scene.
You want me to come over there and give you a hug?
you some shit?
I don't want you to fucking hug me.
Okay, so here's where Chan the Man comes into the story.
I don't know, maybe I should kiss you now.
At the time, his notable credits were the teen comedy She's the Man and a supporting role in the drama Coach Carter. But it was his other career as an Abercrombie model that nearly turned Ditto off completely. He was lobbying for the role of Antonio, a troubled delinquent with an abusive father, described as a messed up, wiry-haired terror with a messed up face. But it was Channing's interpretation of Antonio as a vulnerable kid in need of love and affection and being unable to express it that got him the role.
I'm a fucking piece of shit. That's who I am.
When it came to Shia LaBeouf as his teenage self, Ditto nearly put his foot down completely. At the time, he was best known for the sitcom Even Stevens or else Holes.
Well, I never been to camp before.
Shia was literally rejected for being a Disney kid, but begged for another chance to prove that he could bring the necessary intensity.
It will be okay.
My friend Mike just died, man. He just got fucking shot. You don't know what's happening.
According to legend, Shia was given the part after he punched a hole in the wall.
You're not supposed to hate your father.
I need my father. I need my father.
The search for unknowns did lead to the castings of Adam Scarambolo as Antonio's tortured brother Giuseppe, Julia Garrow as Laurie's mouthy friend Diane, and Scott Campbell as everyone's sidekick Nerf. They also found future Line of Duty cast member Martin Compston for the role of Mike O'Shea, an immigrant stoner who becomes Ditto's friend.
He's from Ireland, man. Like from the country Ireland.
And yes, he was an Irishman in real life, but they made him Scottish so Martin could play the role.
New kid from my class, right? From Ireland?
Oh, Scotland.
Already, you can see that, even though this was directed by Ditto himself, and based on his autobiography, he was more than willing to use significant artistic license with his own life story.
How could you love him so much in that book and not see him for so long?
Although the essence of the story is truth, there was less emphasis on truth of facts and more on truth of feeling.
Really beautiful, you know?
He didn't hesitate to combine real people into one character if it would better convey that feeling.
The train's fucking coming. I don't give a fuck about you. Get my ball, man. You don't give a shit.
For one, the movie shows Giuseppe and Mike getting killed, and the two of them lived in real life. The real Giuseppe apparently loved that he got killed off.
He's stupid. I just fucking, now he's dead and stupid.
But these deaths convey the loss of innocence, the sad possibilities of growing up unloved, and the harsh reality that sometimes awful things just happen in life.
Here is no good anymore, okay? Here is no good anymore.
One of the film's low-key tragic moments comes at Giuseppe's funeral, where Ditto is shocked that Antonio cares more about getting revenge on the gang member that vandalized his house than the fact that his brother has died.
Is that all you think about is the Reaper guy?
What?
It's your brother's funeral.
What the fuck what do you fucking mean? Is that all I ever fucking think about?
And this is all because Antonio associated Giuseppe with the abusive home life he couldn't escape, and saw him more as an annoyance, whereas Ditto is his best friend, who he considers his real family, and no one messes with him.
So wait, hold on. Is the Reaper guy?
Please stop it.
Please stop it. Don't ask me to stop it. I ain't doing nothing yet, but this guy better worry now.
The death of Mike, likewise, is the culmination of Ditto's choice between staying in Astoria and becoming just another delinquent like Antonio, or escaping to California for a better life with him and possibly Laurie.
Because me and Mike will go to California with our band and shit. I want you to come.
He chooses Antonio, thus continuing the cycle of violence in the area, and it's this that leads to Antonio ending up in prison.
You say you want to get out of here, but look at you running after Antonio. The guy's a fucking dick, Ditto. It's because of him you're fucked up. What's your problem?
Fucking go then!
So the theme here becomes about how, in attempting to resist change, things end up changing for the worse anyway. And although Ditto leaves town soon after, he does so alone, with a friend dead, and a girlfriend left alone.
I bought California maps, and anytime I heard anything about it, I would think of you.
Going back to playing around with history for a moment, the character of Laurie experiences the opposite of Mike and Giuseppe.
I remember? You told me, you said you wanted me to go with you, we were going to go together, and...
The real Laurie passed away from AIDS, 2 years before Ditto could ever reconnect with her. But the movie shows her alive and well, still on her same corner, allowing for Ditto to meet her again as an adult.
You used to be a swimmer? Oh, you used to be a swimmer, right?
And that helps set up the emotional through line, the theme of making things right while you still have the chance.
What?
You said you love me, right? I'm serious, that shit means a lot to me, you know?
In the past, Ditto told Laurie he'd take her with him to California and that he loved her, and breaking those promises marks the downward spiral of his life.
You left a trail of blood when you left.
And reconciling with her in the present marks the start of his redemption, And if there's any way to summarize A Guide to Recognizing Your Saints, it's that it's a story about redemption and reconciliation.
All right, you're my son. I'm very proud of you. Now, Antonio, he doesn't have anybody to tell him something like this.
The film has a frank and unflinching look at the grimness of growing up in such an area, but it also has a weirdly romantic look at the past as well.
Do you want to kiss me? Do you want to kiss me?
It's not a rose-tinted narrative.
I do. I want to fuck you, you know?
I want to fuck you too.
The teens behave very realistically.
Which one of you want to suck me off first?
But a big thing in the way that Astoria is portrayed is that one can find beauty in the strangest places.
What are you looking at?
That dog. Close one eye like this. Fly right over it.
The rawness and realness of it all is kind of what makes it beautiful in parts.
Shit.
Huh?
You drunk?
No.
We have our own balcony scene that contains stuff like...
I'm just gonna lick your pussy.
Oh my god. My mother's like right there. She can hear you right now.
But also...
I love you. I don't know why I say I love you, because I love you, because...
You get a real sense of family and community in a lot of scenes, despite the grimness and bleakness of the story.
This guy that don't even know his fucking father had a seizure and shit. He's just coming up and acting like there's nothing fucking wrong.
And Antonio might just be the most compelling character in the whole thing.
I'm sorry, man. Fuck!
Channing Tatum really has to play two different personas in the flashbacks. The mythological figure known as a neighborhood terror, and the troubled boy looking for love when all he's known is violence.
Alright, come on. Look, yo, hey, you don't think I'll fuck you up? Yo, come here. Look at me. Oh, fuck, you fucked up. Don't be mad, okay? No.
And it's ditto reconciling one with the other that leads to him making peace with the past. And I personally feel as though the movie would be missing something without Channing Tatum in the role.
You know, I like this guy. He's fun. He's a good guy.
He recalls Chaz Palminteri giving him the secret to bringing Antonio to life, and that was not to worry about making the audience like his character. The important thing was that they understand him, and it's in that understanding that makes Antonio far more than just a generic street thug.
You okay? What happened?
Yeah, it was my fucking father. Well, yeah.
Elsewhere, the movie incorporates the book's postmodernism through touches like having text from the script appear on screen, voice cameos from the real people, or having scenes and lines overlap with each other.
I'm Ditto. I'm Ditto.
Mike.
It's a fun idea to merge it with the documentary-style realism of the flashbacks, which really helps convey the feeling of a nostalgic memory of something that actually happened. And then you get fourth wall breaks that I just shamelessly love.
Hey, my name is Jenny, and everybody in this place is a fucking joke.
One of the movie's best scenes has each of the teen cast members introducing themselves to the camera and announcing their damage, topped off nicely by Cat Stevens' Trouble.
And everybody's gonna leave me.
But of course, this isn't really about plot or even story. This is about people.
God gave me this mouth so I can use it, and that's what I'm doing.
Yo, I'm gonna have to slap this girl.
It may be Ditto's POV, but it's not just his story.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I don't know what else to do.
I feel as though you get to know so many different people in such a short runtime.
I'm vital, I'm viral, and I'm vital, and I'm viral.
Giuseppe, for example, doesn't get a lot in terms of lines or screen time, but it really feels like you know him by the time of his death. And despite being the least likable character in the story, his death stings, especially with Adam Scarimbolo's choice to play what was originally written to be just a joke as a suicide.
You wanna fucking die? Go ahead. Go ahead.
You're not gonna tell me you're worried about me, are you?
I found Laurie's two friends pretty engaging, and that's quite impressive when you remember that Jenny was a late addition to give Eleanor Hendricks a new role.
I'm ready to burn me and shit.
Her and Julia Garrow end up stealing a lot of screen time whenever they show up, and I do wish they'd factored into the story more.
Curved like a banana, right? Ain't that what you said?
Nah, like a pistachio.
But even in giving Laurie these two girlfriends, it helps her feel like an independent person and not just the love interest.
You forgot, right? Because she let Giuseppe throw knives at me in the end.
Melanie Diaz does a lot with this character, who on paper sometimes isn't that sympathetic, but like Channing Tatum with Antonio, she allows you to understand Laurie and make her an engaging presence.
What are you talking about?
I don't know why you're gonna lick my pussy.
And that's basically the case for every actor here.
You want to go, then go! Okay, you want to go? Is that what you want to hear? Then go. Don't you ever talk to me like that again.
Chaz Palminteri and Diane Wiest are incredible as usual, but the young cast do such impressive work I could have seen this become a miniseries or something.
Maddie, can you be my fucking father for a second? I'm telling you that I want to go somewhere, that I want to fucking do something for once. I can't be here anymore, and it's like fucking nightmare here.
A Guide to Recognizing Your Saints these days represents the real gems of 2000s indie films.
How did she die?
It was a do-it-yourself kind of thing.
Along with The Yellow Handkerchief and Sunshine Cleaning, it helped me find a real appreciation for films that can use their rawness and realness to tell stories that you might not have been used to seeing in mainstream cinema.
I got so much I want to say to you. I just don't know what to say.
It's a movie I love talking about to anyone who hasn't heard of it, and I always love hearing opinions and thoughts about it from those who have.
If I were to leave, that you wouldn't talk to me anymore, that you wouldn't... And if I were to go, would you not talk to me? I mean, that's what you said you were going to do.
It showed me that fiction can still be formative to you, even when you've passed your formative years. And while I know I'm certainly not where I completely want to be, thanks to the motivation and inspiration from this film, I'm definitely a lot further along than I was when I saw it.
I left everything. And everyone. But no one has ever left me.